Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Tuesday night chat. We are so happy you are here. I am joined by my co-host Julian, Bearded Thrift Machine, as well as Scott Chachingking and Rachel Strickland. They were on before. They were on together. It was a good show. So we have them back. I've got it now. Finally, after 3 years, I can point the right way. It takes a long time. I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and we will be dropping links. I don't see Richard. I don't see Richard in the chat yet. I haven't heard from him. And I know Mark is on mobile until the second half of the show. So their links are definitely down in the description for you. I don't know if anybody else can jump in and drop links for us. We would appreciate it. But I'm going to let Scott and Rachel introduce themselves, and then we will get started on questions. Here's Rachel.
Hey guys, my name is Rachel Strickland. I'm a full-time reseller. I sell on eBay and Poshmark, a little bit in Mercari, and recently I just joined Whatnot. I have a YouTube channel right here on YouTube where I tell everyone for free how to do the exact same thing that I do and motivate you to literally turn, I would say, nickels into dollars, because I just sold a nickel for $10. So check out my channel if you haven't already.
Perfect. Here is Scott.
I'm Scott Kelly. I go by Chachingking on Instagram and YouTube. My wife and I are full-time eBay. We also do Poshmark and Etsy, a little bit of Facebook Marketplace, and that's it.
Perfect. I see John More Income is dropping links for me. So thank you, John. I'm not sure where Richard is. I haven't talked to him today, and Mark did tell me he would be mobile until the second half. So thank you for stepping up. I appreciate you. All right. Flipping for Retirement has the first question and beat Duncan, which is impressive. I've heard of resellers refer to having more than one store. Is there any benefit in that?
I've heard a couple different reasons why people do that. I heard Chris Daily Refinement talking about having a more of a private store that than the one that he shows the public, because the public clicking through a store but not buying things was hurting his click-through rate. And so he wanted to have the benefit of people that come to a store strictly buying his items. So that could be one benefit if you have like a huge social media exposure. Other than that, I think that some people like to niche down. It would give me one more place to have to go to list and everything. So I'm like one store on all platforms, that's it. But you could niche and do like just clothing in one store, just home decor in one store, and that could be a benefit.
For me, I do have two stores. I have one that we sell out of. The other one I created just to use for YouTube tutorials, so that if I'm showing somebody how to list something that, you know, and I also created it when I was showing people how to open a store. I thought that's the only reason I have it. I think I have 4 or 5 items listed, like my magnets and some t-shirts and stuff, and that's it.
I've heard that too. I don't have one, and so I really wouldn't know the benefit of having two. I will tell you this one drawback would be is that now you have to deal with 2 stores. I mean, you're talking like you have to make sure you have to answer questions in both stores. You have to switch back and forth, shipping both stores back and forth. And then, so it would just be too much for me, because I mean, I could just have a golf club store, but now that I can see the repeat buyers, there was a thing people were saying, well, if you only had that store, people would repeat buy. I'm already getting repeat buyers, and my store's all over the place. I don't even have categories, and I still have a ton of repeat buyers coming in now that I can see that. So it would be difficult for me to do that, because I guarantee you I would have a lot more late packages and a lot more like questions not answered.
Yeah, and I tried 2 stores and it was horrible because of the switching back and forth. You can't have both on your phone, and I would forget. So the second store didn't have much on it. I would forget to check it. Then I had orders going out late. I wasn't responding to people. So I ended up just closing it down. I could see, like Rachel says, the point as far as, because I'm sure my click-through rate's really low because I do have the exposure. So people are going in and looking at my items. But I haven't seen like a decrease in sales because of that. So I'm not like all over the numbers as far as like my click-through rate and stuff. And I'm okay with where I'm at. As long as I'm getting the sales I want, then I'm good. All right, here's Mr. Duncan. He said, Q1 eBay tells me 1 to 2% promoted listings will be considered too low. So now they're going to make sellers choose a higher rate. Do you promote? And if so, at what rate?
Yeah, I do promote, and I did the worst thing ever and dropped all my promoted listings about a month or so ago, and my sales, they did not tinker. They did not like dwindle down. They were flatlined for 2 weeks after that, even after I fixed it. Don't ever do that. Okay. Let me be like the hamster here, the guinea pig, until you don't ever drop all your promotions. I promote at 10%. I know it's very high and that's kind of aggressive, but I don't run sales. So if I did a 10% sale or if I took a 10% off offer, either way, it's 10%. And I feel like there's an advantage to running a promoted listing versus a sale because in eBay's eyes, they get money off the promoted listing. They don't get money off the sale. So I would think that they're more likely to push your item out in front of buyers because they have more to gain through the promotion.
I don't have the money to give away like Rachel does, so I'm not promoting at 10%. I promote at 1%, but I also do run sales. And if you turn off either one of them, it seems to slow things down. I saw that rise from 1 to 2%, and it chaps my hide. It's just a money grab is the only reason for it. So I will go up to 2%. I'm not going to 10, but yeah, I do it, but I do the smallest one, and then I have best offer turned on, and I also run sales that are smaller sales.
I do promote. I have probably like 95% of my stuff promoted, and I promote like all my things after a certain amount of time. It's usually like 3 weeks. 'Cause usually within those 3 weeks, a good item will sell, and then it's not going to sell promoted. And but I do have them all promoted at the average rate. I don't go above it. I don't go below it. So whatever it is, golf clubs are low. It's like 2.3 or 2.5%, which is low. I haven't checked it recently because I haven't listened to golf club in a month, but I'm pretty sure it's still about the same. And I also do run sales because everybody's talking about their sales. I run a sale twice a month. I only run them on the weekends, Friday through Sunday. I start Friday morning and Sunday night. And I usually run 15%, maybe 20 if I'm feeling a little generous.
If you need to get more sales,
That's right.
I promote it trending plus 3%, and I cap out at 11. So I do have some stuff at 11%, but the only time it would be at 11 was if the trending is 8% or more. And like Julian said, a lot of categories are only 2 or 3% for the trending. So in my case, if it was 3% trending, I would be promoting at 6%. I used to do like Rachel did and did a flat 10% across the board. And then I kind of thought about it and I was like, well, if trending's only 3, do I really need to do 10%? And that's when I switched it to doing trending plus 3%. So I am doing more than the average person is doing in that category to try and get myself a little exposure. And I do sales as well. But my thinking on that is I buy low, like Rachel's talking about turning a nickel into $10. I buy typically at 10%. So I'm okay giving eBay an extra 10% to get that listing bumped. Plus, typically, I figure like 20% in fees for eBay. And Poshmark is 20%, so I'm still only going up to one of the other platforms. So Facebook is the best as far as fees at 5%. So I will take lower offers on Facebook if people offer me on Facebook because I know I have less fees than what I might take over on eBay or Poshmark. Just taking the fees into account. All right, Duncan again. With inflation at 12% and prices going high on everything, do you feel sellers have a better chance of selling used item at cheaper prices or new items at full price?
That's a good question. I haven't really seen the inflation affect my cost of goods, so I haven't felt the need to pass along any inflation to my buyers. I live in such a rural area. You can still get some pretty good inventory, like you said, Kat, at like 10%. So I haven't really felt the need to raise my prices, and I won't for that reason. It's not costing me a whole lot of extra. My entire town is 6 square miles, so I could walk to the thrift store if gas got too expensive. But I do think that people will be looking more for used items, but they're going to want those at a good price. I mean, inflation means that folks are hurting, and I do love the personal side of this job that we would be able to help somebody. So I won't be raising any of my prices to find out, I guess.
I'm in the same boat. Rural, I pay so little for most of my things that the inflation hasn't hit my cost of goods at all. It'll probably affect all of us for shipping. At some point, shipping will go up again. But the way I look at it is everybody's in the same boat. So, I'm I'm not too concerned about it, other than, you know, for the people in my area, it's going to hit them hard. But
I am really not in a rural area, and I would say that the competition is a little bit much here. And prices at yard sales, if people have watched my yard sale videos, you've seen in the last year the
Yeah.
dramatic increase when it used to be $1. Now, like it's a $5 offer, like usually right off the bat. So it's gone up a little bit. I think that people are going to want to use. I mean, I don't really know, but I'm thinking that the used market will go up because new things are so expensive. Like I still get things cheap if I can buy in bulk, but some of my yard sales have been super expensive. If you've been watching my channel, you've seen people throw out like $20, $30, like, hey, this is $30. It's like, wow, really? Like that's a lot of money. So I think that the used market will go up. I don't know how much, but and then gas, you know, like the other day I actually used a quarter tank of gas in the SUV, which that's a lot of riding. So that was like $30, $40. So
it cost $120 to fill up the Expedition when I went down to Clearwater to pick up my last haul, and I used about half of it. But I don't find new items, so I don't particularly look at like the new item market. I'm more of like the vintage. And I think that the prices probably will go up. That's why I comp everything I list. I would make sure you're comping because that price could jump in a short amount of time. So make sure you're looking at like the dates on them because it could slowly start to go up. And if I'm the only one with it, I'm going to raise it, you know, probably 15-20% from the last one that sold if I have the only one that is now available on the market. So I will increase it. I think I see Mike. I do see Mike. Mike was on with us last week. He wants, listen, I know I'm going to do another teacup video tomorrow just because of the popularity of it. I'm going to do like just the high dollar ones from the month of May and see how everybody likes that. Just to maybe keep up on like the trends of like which patterns are selling the highest and which brands. It's actually almost all one brand tomorrow. And 2 of them are mine on this video. So that will be fun. Watch my video. That's my tip, Mike. You have to watch my video. All right. I'm going to get, he knows that. He's just, everything he says to me now is like teacup, but it's not a teacup on Instagram everywhere. Mike just is teacup happy. But Mike, now I bet Mike looks at the teacups. I bet Mike
after $500-$600 teacup sales.
He found a glassy baby.
I just told my dad this morning to watch your teacup video. I was like, don't be looking at coffee mugs, but check out teacups and check out Kat's video.
Yeah, and I've sold 2 for close to $600. So in the last month. All right, awesome. Here's Charlie the dolphin for Mike. Super chat. All right, Duncan, you're right. Question 4 is not allowed. I have to give Duncan a limit or he'll just hog all the questions. But here's Duncan's number 3. I still hear of sellers with tons of stuff and no or slow sales. One seller had hundreds listed and only 5 sales a month. What are these sellers doing wrong, or is it summer slowdown?
I think everything has seasons, but I think it was Flip the World that said, unless you're selling fur coats in Texas, forget about summer slowdown. Because there's always going to be someone buying. If not, eBay would shut down for the summer. Like, try not to surround yourself with people that are going to fill your headspace with like, sales are so slow. And it's just going to give you 1,000 excuses for, I think I said this the last time that we were on, things that are outside of your control. You can't control summer slowdown. And so that takes all the control away from what you can do in your store. And you need to focus on the things that you can control, running sales, listing really great items, you know, marking down your prices if you need to. I think the only thing people are doing wrong is giving themselves too many excuses. I don't know. At the risk of sounding very suck it up buttercup, that's what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
You know, I went to high school in Duluth, Minnesota, and in the wintertime, my old car it didn't run the same as it did in the summer. And you could just as easily say, my car doesn't run good in the winter, so I don't drive. Or you could do whatever it takes to make it run the way you need it to. In the summer, like if all you sold were shovels, summer would probably be a great time. I think it's always a function of, are you working? Are you doing the things that make it work? now that we've diversified a lot in our store, I don't really have a summer slowdown. Things slow down for me when I quit listing, when I quit working.
Yeah, I would agree with that. They slow down when you stop actually listing things on eBay, and they also like what you're selling. My dad, you talk about like money and people spending money. My dad just picked up a watch for $20 and sold it for 700 in 2 days. So it's like,
That's
Nice.
awesome.
yeah, I had to throw him out. I know he's watching right now. I was like, that's
So
insane.
good.
We were at the same yard sale. That's what makes me mad about it. Is he picked it up before me?
You missed it.
Missed it.
You.
Totally walked by it. But yeah, I mean, just list good quality items like the watch, or I just listed some good like electronics. All that has sold quickly. And I'm always going to go towards golf and fishing and any outdoor gear. That stuff is always selling. Like I had one of my biggest golf club buys or sell like weekends that I sold in months was like 2 weeks ago. So and I think I shipped out over 15 this weekend. So just list some really decent items. That's
Right.
where it comes down to.
I would say first, I would look at titles and pictures. That would be my first thing if you're not getting sales. The second thing I would ask is, are you below average on your seller rating? And if so, your listings are being suppressed. And other than that, I would say the less I sell, the more I list. I just look, I only have $83 in sales today and my average is 500. So if today's a crappy day, it happens. But I listed 15 earlier. I'm going to list another 15 just because. But my week is at 3,300. So my week is above my average, even though today really sucks. So I would say, look at your titles, look at your pictures, look at your comps. Maybe you're pricing too high. Maybe your shipping's too high. If you have good items, there is always a possibility that you're just sourcing stuff that nobody wants to buy. There is that stuff out there, whether we like it or not. And especially if you're new, I would not buy things that you can't find comps on, because you could be throwing money away and you don't necessarily have none of us want to ever throw it away, but like I have a little bit of leeway because I've been doing it so long. I kind of have a reserve. If I make a mistake buying, then I'm paying to learn. But when you're new, it's, a $20 mistake would be a much bigger hit. So I would just watch that too. Deborah Holcomb wants to know if any of us have ever heard of First Dibs, and if so, what do we think of their pricing?
I've heard of it, but I've never used it, so I couldn't talk about the pricing.
So I applied to First Dibs. I had the stuff. I had some fur coats and things that they had priced at $10,000 to $15,000. But quite frankly, the whole process of getting approved for them was like, you felt like you'd be working for them, and the stuff sells slow. And I'm not in that game. I'd rather pass along the deal to somebody else and they can mess with all of that. So
they can go through the application.
Yeah, it's kind of like visiting a traveling proctologist.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
I'm not familiar with them either. I want to put this up real quick. This kind of goes back to what I was just saying. So Deborah, who just asked that question, said she's bought 3 shelf lots on high bid. Most of the ceramics and glassware are not marked. Google Lens doesn't show them, and she can't afford WorthPoint. So WorthPoint's not going to help you if Google Lens doesn't show them and they're not marked. So that's kind of here nor there, because that's for items you can identify. Shelf lots are typically very, very cheap. So if you have a green glass bowl, I would look up green glass bowl. And I typically, with that stuff I can't identify, I'll price it at like 10, 15, 20 bucks, wherever I think it should be, because I'm typically like 50 cents or $1 in. And then if somebody else knows more than you and makes more money, so be it, because they have more knowledge than you. And that way you let it go. Otherwise, you're going to spend hours researching a $10 item and you're going to be making $2 an hour. And I don't want to do that. So I very, very rarely put a long time into researching any one item. I know what I paid. I know what I'd be happy to get, and I let it go at that. So WorthPoint, I don't think would help you if you can't identify them, is my whole point of that. WorthPoint is more if you keep running into WorthPoint on comps and it's the only one that has them, that's when I think you should think about getting it. But if you're not able to identify it, it probably is not going to help you anyways. Mr. Juan Man Show, how do you deal with items that smell less than pleasant, or even items that are dirty but are worth cleaning, or maybe sell them as is for a profit?
One of the smellier things that I bought a pair of Hokas, and I thought that they smelled fine, like in the thrift store. And then when I got them home, I realized they had a huge cigarette odor. And I thought that maybe they were just toast. And they had like a funny, almost laundry odor about them too, that maybe someone had sprayed something. I honestly set them outside for like a week, and the fresh air did wonders. But a few other things you could try. I bought a couch for myself once that also smelled of cigarette smoke, and I used vinegar and oil all over the leather of the couch and took the smell out. Newspapers inside of like a box or any enclosed space will take that odor out, and then also charcoal. Don't be afraid of the elbow grease if it's worth cleaning, but to echo what Kat just said, if you have to clean it for 6 hours, how much are you making an hour? Some things are worth redonating, and like, count your loss that you didn't notice that in the store. But if it's worth it, there's always a way to take the odor out.
Lots of vodka. And you don't drink till you can't smell, but vodka, the alcohol in vodka will encapsulate a lot of the smells that create the musty odor. And so you can get vodka cheap. It's cheaper than Febreze, which is mostly alcohol. But we put vodka in a spray bottle, and I'll use that. But again, like with all of these things, I don't want to spend my time working on a $20 item. If something is worth $400, I'm going to put it in a tub with some odor eaters or some charcoal or vodka and all of that. But if it's not worth, a great deal of money, I'm going to give that to somebody else and let them mess with it.
I actually bought an Ozone Machine, and I'm going to make a tub because I had bought $850 worth of pretty good high-end Harley jackets. One of their like highest ends. I got like 10 of them. Never hit my YouTube just because it was not a really good buy, and I need my money back. So they smell like cigarette smoke. When I got back, I was like, And actually, Kayla's like, these stink, and I was like, that's not good. So some of them are leather, some of them have like pads in them. They're very good, high quality. They just smell like cigarettes. Can't throw them in the wash. I try to get them dry cleaned. Around here, they actually said they don't dry clean leather. There's like, we don't have a specialist that does that.
We'd have to drive 2 hours. I called around about that because I had some chaps.
Yep. So they said no leather cleaning. I said, I'm in trouble here. What can get it out? I haven't done it yet, and I'm sure that I will go ahead and put that as a short or something when I actually get around to it, because I'm not in the hurry now because it's hot outside. Because these are very heavy jackets. So I'm hoping that actually works for this, and I'll let everybody know in like 6 months.
Yeah, so the only thing I got, and it was actually my bad because it was an online auction and they stated it, and I did not read the description. It said smells heavily of cigarette smoke. And then when I got it, I was like, oh my God. And I went and read the description. I was like, son of a gun. And it was, so that was on me because they put that it was heavily, it was in a smoker's house, and it was a bunch of Barbie clothes as well as Barbie dolls that were worth hundreds of dollars, and they did sell for hundreds. So what I did, I got a tote. I got like fish tank charcoal. I dumped like a whole bottle of it in a Rubbermaid, laid out tissue paper, laid out all of the clothes. And then I think I might have even put charcoal on top. I sealed it up, left it for a week. It didn't completely get rid of it, but it did remove, like, it wasn't horrible like it initially was. And I still put it in my listing that they had an odor of cigarette smoke, but it was way less than when I got them. So I did decrease it. So I would say, like Rachel said, if it's going to take you hours and hours and it's worth $20, I wouldn't pick it up. But those, and honestly, I wouldn't have kept bidding if I had read that disclosure. I would have let them go. But I did still end up making over $100 profit on them after buying charcoal and tissue paper to get the smell out. But yeah, so I would stay away unless it's something worth like over $100, where the time you're going to put into it makes it worth it. I don't know if anybody knows this. I know I do not. Margaret wants to know, does anybody know if West Coast International goes somewhere other than Kentucky? She had her first sale to Canada today, and she's a bit concerned.
Kentucky's the only warehouse for GSP that I've ever heard of.
That's where mine goes.
I had one time go to Kentucky, then to Michigan for some reason. It was very high. It was very high dollar. I don't know. It was like a thing there. And that was the only one I've ever seen like rerouted. I don't know why it got rerouted, but it went to Michigan, then it actually went to where it was supposed to go. I think
That's
it was
interesting.
Mhm.
I don't think I've ever, but I mean, I'm down in the East Coast. I think Kentucky's kind of central though, so I feel like most would probably go still to Kentucky. I just wanted to highlight this. Pam, who is new at reselling, said she had 3 sales today. All
Nice.
3 were ones I said not to rule out. She sold an oil painting in rough shape. I'm gonna assume FootJoys and vintage stackable cups. So that is amazing. Congrats. I'm happy to hear it. I also, since Mr. Richard is not here, he is MIA. I'm going to put this up here for John at More Income. He started to sell on Whatnot. He is dropping links in the chat for us. So if you guys are on Whatnot, go follow John at More Income. John, if your name's something else, tell them in the chat and feel free to drop a link. I appreciate you helping me with absolutely no notice, by the way. So thank you for stepping up. I appreciate you. I'm scrolling. Oh, Lori wants to know, Rachel, did you get your car yet?
I got it today.
Yay!
I would be editing the video about it, guys, but you can blame Kat because I'm here tonight. So I'm going to edit it after this.
Oh my God.
I'm just not sure if I'm going to put it out tonight after editing or wait until in the morning because everyone's anxious to see what I got.
Perfect. So you have to watch our channel tomorrow.
Yes.
Cheap Chickadee says in her eBay store, she tries to delete a subcategory, move it to another. Does anybody know what she's doing wrong?
I've never had much luck with categories. I've tried to change things on there and not really worked very well. But kind of like Julian was saying earlier, that unless it's a repeat buyer, maybe they're not searching there. I don't know, because you can search within someone's store for shoes or whatever. I don't really mess with categories as much as I probably should. So Scott, maybe you could answer this one better than me.
I'm sure I can. I would say what you're doing wrong is using subcategories. I don't mess with any of that at all. Like I don't know. I don't use them at all. So
Yeah, I don't use them either.
And I started trying to do my own eBay store categories, and then I was like, Kat, what the heck are you doing? You have 5 million different things and all these categories. So I changed my store back from use my categories to use eBay's categories. So my store is separated by eBay categories now. I like threw the idea of mine out the window because I was making like 5 new categories a week, and I'm like, I'm going to have like as many categories as I have items. And I just got frustrated with it and reverted back to using eBay's categories for it. And I think my chat just jumped. What did it do? Oh, Cheryl is saying she gets to meet me. She bought tickets to Flipcon. Yeah, if you guys do not know, I think it's flipcon.net maybe. It's being put on by Harry Tornado and Phoenix Resale. I will be on the panel there speaking. It is August 24th. So I believe there are still tickets left. So I'm glad Cheryl said that, because I always forget to say it, because I feel like it's like so far away, but it's gonna seem like it's tomorrow coming up soon. Miss Erica wants to know advice for sellers who are stuck with a listing block, how to jumpstart motivation when there is none.
So I actually just made a reel about motivation the other day that people always want to know, like, where do you get motivation to XYZ, like fill in the blank. And I will tell you that motivation never accomplished a dang thing. Discipline does. And so when you have no motivation to list and you have listing block, treat your business like your business. Remember that this is your job. It's not a hobby unless you want it to be. But if you treat it like a hobby, you're going to get hobby type of income. So if you are not motivated to list, be disciplined to list. Make yourself a chart if you need to. And like, this is your job. Expect from yourself what you would expect from an employee, and treat yourself like you would treat your boss. And then your business is going to run a lot smoother. So when you don't have motivation, have discipline.
No, I think Rachel's got it perfectly. You're not always going to feel like listing. You're just not going to. And that's when you have a goal that I'm going to get this much listed today. And before I dive into the things that I'm going to do for fun, I'm going to get my job done. As far as motivation goes, sometimes let's say that I've been listing a lot of shirts and things like that. I might switch to a different category for a little while and list something that's, new for the day, but you just got to do it.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. Like, and also, but switching categories is like, if you've been listing golf clubs for a whole day, you're like, this is not fun. Tomorrow, I don't want to list golf clubs. The luxury I have is I can switch to a million different categories and list pins or fishing stuff or whatever I have laying around. So that helps a lot. But also, like, if you do this for work, like this is your job and this is how you like pay the bills. My motivation is that like I have to keep my lights on. So like I have to list, like I have a, this has got to get done today, no matter what. And then you can go do whatever you want. But no, like my personal motivation is this is my work and I treat it as a job. So I treat it as I wake up early, I go to bed late, and I work in between, because that's what you would do if somebody told you to go to work. So you kind of do the same thing.
Yeah, and for me, it's like you just got to make yourself do it typically. And I felt like that quite a bit lately. Typically, if I feel like it, but I start, it's just the starting. Once I start, I'm okay. It's just like making myself get out there, start photographing. I do batches of 10 to 15 and photograph them. And then I go in the house and watch TV while I'm listing and do whatever. I would say the same though. Like you've got to, like I've been making myself do at least 15 a day, and which honestly for me is not that much. I don't feel like it is that much, but I am also activating drafts from my listers. And so I'm typically getting 30 to 50 up a day, and same thing. And I always tell everybody, like, remember how much you want to make a day in sales, and you should be listing at least that. So like my daily sales goal is 500 a day. So I want to make sure I'm listing at least $500 in inventory a day in order to get the sales that I want. It's hard, and I mean, it's okay to take a day off, but I wouldn't take more than like 2 days off. Maybe take a day off, go do something fun and get out of the house, and maybe that'll help too. I am making myself, we are going out once a week on the boat. I don't think Brad even wanted to go. I'm like, what time are we going out on the boat Friday? And he's like, what? I'm like, look at the tides. When are we going? And I really honestly don't even feel like going, but I think we need to make that time, go out. Like my mom's going to come with us. This time we're not going fishing. We're going to go to the springs and go swimming in the river and just have fun, relax, and get away. Because if I'm at home, I'm typically working, which is a downfall. I don't know if Rachel saw this, but Sunflowers of the Ocean said she didn't know supermodels are resellers too. Rachel's channel is Rachel Strickland. Just her name. There it is up there on the screen. I'll put it up there. So you guys can definitely go and check her and Scott out. I don't know. I'm going to say this ahead of time. I don't know new shipping regulations. So Patty's asking, with new shipping regulations on eBay, should we quit selling to Germany and the EU?
I'm so glad you prefaced this question with "you're unaware." That I feel a lot less stupid saying I don't know what you're talking about. So please educate us if there's new shipping regulations.
Yeah, well, if somebody's aware.
No, I don't have a clue what you're talking about. For me, I use the global shipping program. And so if eBay is going to ship it to them, I'm going to ship it to eBay.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I have no idea what they're selling. But I'm watching the chat. So, Patty, if you are still here, please write us and I'll put your comment up, because I don't know.
Yeah. Let us know. And I use eBay Global and Standard International, and they typically will stop those shipments if they're not allowed, and they'll just... I don't even know somebody gets a lot of stuff, because typically they don't come back to you.
Oh, I think we got one.
Scott knows. Scott has a video about that.
Yeah, it was.
Miss Marcia says for Germany, you have to get a permit to sell to a buyer in Germany.
Interesting.
But I wonder if eBay has a blanket permit if you're using global shipping and you sell it and you send it to GSP, and then GSP is actually the one shipping it. I wonder if eBay might have a blanket permit. I know Julian's watching the chat there.
I do know
somebody says that Dom Primetime, I guess, did a video on it maybe. And then you have a whole bunch of people talking
video
about it
every week. I thought the last one was about an alligator eating
That's what I thought.
Reseller though.
Could be. I don't know.
With the global shipping program, when you send something to them that gets caught, like I had a pocket knife I had sold that was supposed to go to Spain. Spain doesn't allow pocket knives, and eBay gave me back my money. They gave the buyer back the money. The property becomes the whatever you sold that got caught becomes the property of Pitney Bowes. And that stuff is being sold to a guy in Michigan who then uses the old ads to just relist everything. And
that guy.
I know because I had 3 of the knives and he copied my active ad and then undercut my price. And so the real trick is to find, I was asking Pitney Bowes how to get in on buying that stuff and they blocked me. So I don't know if it's like a double secret or what, but.
Wow.
That's crazy. That Scott was an investigator. Emily says there's a new shortage of feminine hygiene products. Is anyone planning on selling those items?
Everyone has their own opinion, but that ranks up there with selling diapers or baby formula. I know that there are plenty of countries where women don't even have access to feminine hygiene products, and I could never.
Pretty much whenever we've run into something that's in short supply, honestly, I give it to people here locally. I'm not going to sell it on eBay.
No.
Yeah, and I would agree. I agree exactly with Rachel. Like, I'm not going to try and make a profit on something people need. I sell stuff that people want. Like, they don't have to have a glass paperweight. They want it. If it's something they need, then I wouldn't feel comfortable. Like it's scalping. And I'll tell you, if eBay sees that, they're going to pull down everybody's and they're going to block it, just like they did with toilet paper when COVID started. Everybody's listings got taken down. So you could risk your account if they consider it a price gouging situation, which with items that are needs, they will do. So I would be very careful of that. Mary Garcia and Abby. I don't know if Abby's watching. I assume Abby's watching. What is your fastest selling bread and butter item? Mary, you did not beat Duncan. You were like an hour too late. Duncan is on point with his questions.
Like, I sell such a plethora of different random things. I'm trying to think of any one thing that I've listed consistently enough to know that it sells immediately when I list it. I don't know, like Levi's jeans sell pretty quickly for me. Gosh, I don't know if there's any, like I say, any one thing that I know it's just going to be gone as soon as I can't even think of a category. Sorry, I don't have a good answer for that.
I don't really have bread and butter. I can tell you that Abu Garcia fishing reels, I can sell them faster than I can get them. So that would be crazy fast.
Yeah, mine would be, my bread and butter personally is going to be golf clubs, like not very expensive ones and not low end ones, like middle ground, $20 tailor-made $20 Callaways that I can pick up for $3 or $4, and then you sell them for 20 plus shipping. I use UPS. Somebody did ask me that. I solely use UPS now. I do flat rate. I moved it up to $11 because I was doing $10. Got burned about 72 times going to California, so we moved it to $11 for flat rate. But mine, hand down, is going to be like a middle ground golf club, name brand.
Yeah, and for me, it seems to be the stuff I get in lots, like the Harley pins, $15, $10, $15 all day. Now it is license plates. We have been shipping out like 5 license plates a day at like $15, $20. And the bigger lot of them, I only paid 33 cents a piece. So, and my daughter is going all gung-ho on me and listed 150 license plates last week. Because I give a double bonus if they hit 150 listings, which she got. She hit it right on the head. And I think that's her just working 3 days. So for those of you that think 10 or 15 is a lot, my daughter's probably doing 4 hours of work to list 50 items 3 times a week, and I pay her $400. So it can be, I could list 100 in a day if I was really motivated to do it in like an 8-hour day. Pretty easy. So she's been doing good. I know Larry and John, Larry Wayout and John Moore have both been sharing links and in the absence of my regular moderators. So John and Larry post each other's channels up here. Both of these gentlemen do have YouTube channels. I appreciate you guys helping out. Larry is amazing. I met him in person at Cincinnati. He's a great guy. He bought pizza for everybody at the reseller rally. So definitely check these guys out. And I think, is it you that's doing a podcast with Jimmy now? I think Larry and Jimmy are doing a new podcast, Old School Flips. So drop any links you guys want, please. I appreciate you both helping. Add each other to your list of channels that you are dropping for sure. I know Mark is here. He's just on his mobile, so he doesn't have access to his links. Patty wants to know if any of us have a video on setting up a store on Instagram.
No, I have been considering it though. I have a private label like vintage redesign coming out, and I have to set up a store for that. So good idea, Patty. When that happens, I'll make a video about it.
I can't stop. You kind of froze up on me. I don't really know how to use Instagram, so I don't have a store or anything on there.
I was gonna say, if somebody does it, I'll watch it because I don't know how to do that either.
I don't, but I noticed List Perfectly now copies the Instagram. So
cool.
I might need to try a few just to see, or if anybody in the chat is selling on Instagram, I would love to hear how sales are going. Like if the traffic's there, because it's not something that I have actively tried.
I feel like when I list on Instagram, it's going to be very niche. Like, I feel like that would have to be one type category store, don't you think?
I would think so.
I don't know. I mean, I just do whatever I do anyways. I don't really go with the flow. I don't
working for you.
Stream does. Yeah, it's working. I did want to say hello to my good friend Yvonne Thrifty Brit. She is in the chat as well. Juan Man Show, does a second eBay seller account give you an additional 250 free listings? It would, Juan, but I mean, the lowest cost of a store is like $10 maybe, and you could do 20 for like 1,000 listings. I would prefer to pay that, and then you get the benefit of being able to run sales and you get free shipping supplies. So I would say I would do a paid store before I would do it just for those free 250. Believe me, switching back and forth is a pain in the butt. Take it from somebody who tried to do it for 6 months and then gave up. I said, no more. Look at Miss Mary. Mary sent a $4.99 super chat. Thank you all for continually pouring life into us. Our family will never be the same because of you all. Thank you so much. Here is Charlie for Mary and for Abby. Super chat. Oh, Flippin' Goodies Mike is saying Instagram attaches to your Facebook shop. So Mike, tell me, I have all my listings on Facebook. Do I just need to turn something on?
Wow.
I'm interested to know that if you're still in the chat. Hopefully you are. I don't think I'm. Oh, I think I scrolled way too far. I did. It's been switching. When you click it, it's moving me too. Hold on. I'm trying to figure out where I was. Oh, where was I?
You're pretty far back.
I see everybody piping in and helping, so thank you all for doing that. Emily said I should do a tutorial on how you figure out pricing. I think I have a video on that. I'm not sure. Send me an email and I'll look. I know, like, I'm going to look at some of my older videos that I still get repeated questions about, and I might, like, kind of do a refresh on them. I know high bid is one of the questions I get all the time because I talk about buying from high bid so much. So I might redo that one, and pricing I might too. Look, Mike said he's going straight to the teacups. Cheryl, all of my teacups that have sold over $500 have went international. And I will tell you, those expensive ones are on the global shipping program. I do not do standard international with them. I do not want the liability on them. And actually, the last two went to the same buyer. And I've sold three. I've sold three. Flipping for retirement, if you're promoting, like, do you consider increasing your asking price?
I don't.
No.
No, because then your price is higher than everybody else's, and then it wouldn't really
Right.
work out.
And I was going to say that too. You're going to know the price that it should be selling for, and you can't just raise it because you know you're promoting, or you're going to be the highest priced and then it's not going to sell. Miss Emily, what do you all do about people who want to cancel orders because they bought by accident? Is there any way not to be charged the fees?
If someone wants to cancel an order and I haven't shipped it, I will cancel it for sure, because the last thing I want to do is ship out to someone who doesn't even want this. It's like an INAD or a return waiting to happen, whichever. As far as the fees, to my knowledge, eBay has not stopped charging us the 30-cent fee. That's kind of like a non-refundable 30-cent processing fee that you get charged whenever an item sells. So you'll be charged that. And I guess it's just a cost of doing business. It sucks, but it is what it is. But I would cancel if they bought it by accident, because I could see how that could accidentally happen, maybe.
I do the exact same thing Rachel does. I would say the only other thing I do is I hate them, but I don't have a record of that.
Yeah, I do the same thing. If they buy it by accident and I haven't shipped it out, then I definitely cancel the item.
If they ask to cancel, I'm going to cancel it regardless of the reason, because otherwise you're just begging for either a return and or negative feedback because you didn't cancel it. And as far, I think Rachel's right, it's just the 30-cent fee. They do refund all of like the final value fees and stuff like that. But I will tell you, Dalton, and when he was like 1, Dalton bought something on eBay with my phone, just like playing with it. So it can happen. I know, like it happened to me, and I was the one saying, "Can you please can't?" And it was like something I had been researching to list. So he I don't know how he did, but he went and bought something. Aunt B sent a $4.99 super chat. I believe that is Miss Bridget. You can kick me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong. Thank you, Miss Bridget. I appreciate it. Here is your dolphin. Super chat. Miss Laura is saying, offering free shipping to buyers, is it always a good idea?
No, absolutely not. Even if all of your competition is doing free shipping and you're like, well, I could either do $10 on this item plus $15 shipping, or vice versa, or I could just list it for $25. And what's the big difference? Again, let me be your guinea pig. The big difference is that someone in Alaska will buy it. And so you should have just done calculated shipping.
Or Hawaii.
Yes, it was like this huge VHS tape holder. And here I did that because that's they were all $25. It didn't matter if I did, if it's a first class item, okay, figure your shipping in and offer free shipping. That way, when someone filters, they can filter by free shipping and your item will pop up too. But if it's not first class, that is under £1, really consider what it's going to cost you to ship, because I'm in Missouri, I am central, and shipping to California is killing me. So if you're coast to coast, it's really going to be like an exorbitant amount.
I can't tell if she's done talking.
I'm done.
Just breaking up on me awful. I charge a flat rate for most of my items, so all of my stuff sells to Alaska and Hawaii, and so there's a real danger in that. I don't use calculated shipping, and I don't have a good reason for it. I don't do free shipping on anything, or very, very rarely, but I should use calculated shipping and don't have a good reason that I don't.
I don't. I might have 1% that's free shipping, and that's probably under 8 ounces, not even up to a pound. I live on the East Coast, like directly next to the water, so shipping to California is very expensive. Except on golf clubs, I can still do $11, and you wouldn't believe, to ship a 2-pound golf club 48 by 4 by 4 to California is still $11.63. I eat 63 cents on that, but I ship a lot to Florida, a lot to New York, and a lot to Texas for some reason, and they're about $9. So I make a little bit there to cover the boxes, and it kind of equals out there. But no, I do not do free shipping. I only do one flat rate, which is for golf clubs, because I'm very dialed into exactly how much that costs. Everything else is calculated. And make sure, even like, you can also say you don't want to ship to Alaska and Hawaii and Puerto Rico and some other places. You can do that in there if you are doing that. Because I shipped something to Hawaii the other day that I meant to just not shipped to Hawaii, and it cost it like an arm and a leg. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, and I used to do free shipping on some stuff. I used to do it on like shirts and stuff that was less than 8 ounces, like Julian said. But I actually have calculated shipping on everything. And that includes like Harley pins that are 3 ounces. But that way I'll get, because I make about $1 with our discount, and that covers the jewelry box and the padded envelope that I send it in. But I have not done anything free shipping in probably close to 2 years. So there probably is still some free shipping stuff in my store, but it was from 2 years ago. I haven't listed anything like that recently at all. Miss Emily sent, she doesn't want Charlie. She doesn't want Charlie. Okay, no Charlie for Emily.
What?
You're very welcome. I'm happy to help. We do try and get to as many questions as we can. It really depends on how heavy the chat is that night. We do have 550 in here now, so thank you all for watching. And it depends on the amount of questions. I think the last 2 weeks, I think we made it through them all pretty much the last 2 weeks. Charlotte sent a $5 super chat. First time live chat viewer, long time cat fan. I appreciate you. Thank you. I'm glad you're in chatting. It's a really a good time. You guys can network. You can talk with each other. So even if we're not able to get to your question, I bet you somebody in the chat will be able to answer and help you. So it's really good, like community networking time as well. Charlotte didn't say no Charlie, so I'm gonna give Charlotte.
Charlie.
There you go.
Super chat.
What am I doing with my life? Oh, here it is. Sunflowers at the Ocean. If you have a store subscription monthly payment, you get restricted to a couple of items a month. Is there a way to get out of the store? I'm going to go ahead and answer this and say, if you did a year contract, I don't think you can without paying a fee. Like if you commit to a year with eBay at the lower cost. If you did month to month, then you could just turn it off. But if you committed to a year, which I know is what I do because I know I'm not planning on going anywhere. Does anybody know anything different about that?
No.
Okay. Kat, I think you got it. I think that's the way it is.
I'm pretty sure that's the case. Christopher. $49.99 super chat from Mr. Christopher. I buy chit. Hello to all you wonderful people. Great content. Also, hello, Rachel.
Hi, Christopher.
Thank you so much, Christopher. I greatly appreciate your continued support. Here is your dolphin.
Super chat.
Thank you. Christopher is great. He is a great support. I see him all over supporting a ton of reseller channels. So thank you.
He's got to start up a channel, Kat. You need to put some pressure on him to start a channel.
Make a channel. Make a channel. Cheryl said she picked up her first high bid auction winning. She won 5 lots at $250 each. Got Tupperware, Christmas, and vintage Star Wars sheets. That is amazing. I'm happy to hear it. You can get some good stuff. Don't talk to me about that because you're going to make me want to go buy things, and I'm trying really hard not to buy things.
Oh, sorry. You got a new member.
It's okay. I highlighted Larry telling Mike he was too big for the teacup ride. I just kind of like Vintage Tammy joined the channel membership. Now's a good time to join, especially with the lower level, because Thursday is eBay store reviews. You don't have to have a store. I will review your listings whether you have a store or not. So we will be doing eBay store and listing reviews. We also have done a couple of Poshmark closets. So if you're not an eBay seller, that is okay too. So watch tomorrow. I will post asking you guys for either a link to an item or the name to your store, and we will do store reviews on Thursday. So, Miss Tammy, here is your dolphin.
Welcome to the flipping family.
That one always cracks me up.
The family one.
Yeah.
Look, Rachel's saying Scott told Chris all about you at our nurse flipper boot camp up in Tennessee.
Aww.
Scott was spreading the word when we were in Tennessee.
Scott, did you say nice things about me? He's not even answer.
I can't hear you guys. You all sound like the dolphin.
Did you say nice things about me, Scott?
I did. You weren't there, so it was easy.
Refresh it, Scott. If we sound all wonky, refresh it. If you have to come back in, that's fine. That's got to be annoying.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, they'll sound like Charlie.
I have a tin can emoji for my members to use because I used to sound like that. We have not caught good fish yet. We caught the little baby shark that I made a short reel about, but we haven't went back out. But this Friday when we go out, I think our goal is going to be to go swimming in the springs. We're not going fishing. So next week we'll go fishing again and try and hunt some more. Listen, I am very determined. If you know me, I will find the fish. It might take me a little while, but I will find the fish. Julian told me a good idea, but that probably requires me to get up at like 5 in the morning. And Dalton is not a happy camper if you get him up at 5.
Me neither.
Early.
Patty's saying, but by listing something at the price you'd be happy with and it's actually worth a lot more, won't you be part of the problem of driving prices down?
I guess if it's like super intentional and if your desire is to undercut somebody, but like in reference to what you were talking about earlier, not being able to figure out the price. I mean, yeah, your time is money. You're paying yourself something. Don't spend 18 hours. Just get the thing listed, right?
I think so. And I normally price at the upper end anyway. Our average sale price last year was $80 or just over $80. And a lot of that was just me charging more. So I definitely don't think I'm driving the price down. But
yeah, if you can't find the price and you just price something and it is considerably lower, then it's really not intentional. Like if I know that a fishing reel or whatever is worth 150, I'm not going to price it at 75. I'm going to price it for 150. But if I can't find that specific one, then I will price as what I think is worth. If I can't find anything on it, then you know what? To me, it's worth $75. And if I get $75, I'm happy because I probably paid $5 for it.
Right. And so in my situation, like Rachel said, I'm talking about stuff you can't find. So you don't know what the market is and you don't know, you could be raising the market or lowering the market, but you can't identify it. And I'm just saying, don't spend a ton of time on it. I go right below. And I mean, that's like my $400 strawberry that the lady got so pissed off and said I was stupid about. It had been priced at $500 for a year and a half. So when I got a $400 offer, I paid $50. I don't care if everybody else, there he went. I don't care if everybody else is at $700. I've had it sitting there for $500 for a year. I would be stupid not to take that $400 offer and make $300 in profit. You know, that's just like, that's the, you know, it's common sense. And if other sellers get mad at me, they get mad at me. But a rare Steuben strawberry that there are 4 on the market, me selling it for $400, once mine's gone, they can put it at $700 or $1,000 or whatever they want. But it took me a year and a half to get that $400. But typically I was talking about stuff we can't find. So there's no market to affect. I see Christopher again with a $49.99 super chat. Thank you so much again. He said he scored 6 vintage new old stock Filson hunting pants and 4 new pairs of Allen Edmonds shoes today, all for $300. Have any of us sold Filson before?
I see Lavender Clothesline talk about Filson all the time, and it's on my bucket list. I want to find Filson, but I never have.
I have sold a lot of Filson and love it, and it's super exciting.
He looks very nice frozen.
He's not frozen to me.
Oh gosh, now Scott, you're freezing to me, and I'm probably talking over you. I'm gonna be quiet.
No, I just said I've sold a ton of Filson. Love it. Look for it.
Where is Christopher? Do you know, Rachel? Where does Christopher live?
Yeah, he lives in Texas.
Okay.
Yeah,
I would say the town, but I don't want to. I don't know if he wants everyone to know.
No.
Everybody's going to go to that town and try to buy Filson stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I already told him that. I was like, I tell you where I want to source is where you're at, and he told me to stay in my own state.
I've only sold a couple pieces. I think one was a hat, and then one I couldn't buy because it was too high. It was a book bag or like a messenger bag or something because they're very expensive.
I've never seen Filson and I've never heard of it, so I'm gonna have to look it up because I'm not familiar with it. I am familiar with Alan Edmonds. I do know Alan Edmonds, but I am not familiar with Filson. Is it like a camping hunting type gear?
They even have like leather jackets and coats and outerwear and stuff like that too. Men's shirts.
I'm
like all
making a
kinds of
note
stuff.
on my notepad. I gotta look it up.
I bet you'll find it now that you know about it. You're gonna find it.
I'm not looking for anything for a while.
A lot of the Filson is like waxed cotton. And I mean, some of their jackets can go for $300 to $1,000. So
Nice.
Filson's absolutely a bolo.
I need to make sure I find that. All right, here's Charlie again, and I see a whole line of super chats and members. So, Christopher, here is Charlie for you.
Super chat.
All right, let's hit them. Hanford Findings said she found ephemera. There are a number of Connecticut state medical exams. I think you wrote me about this, and if I didn't answer you, I'm sorry, because I thought I did. So what would you guys do if you found state medical exams from 1908?
I would make sure it's okay to sell those first if they have the answers. If so, just sell them on college campuses to kids that need the test answers.
From 1908.
You might get more
I have
money.
sold some of. Is Rachel still talking?
No, go ahead.
I sound like Drew now. So, like, I've sold a lot of ephemera in the past, and so things like that is very, very specific. And so what you can do is look for other medical things that have sold from that same period, and then take that price, put it on there, but you're going to have to sit and wait for the right buyer.
Yeah, that's what I would do. I would probably, because there's probably not a lot of that out there. I would look at things that are similar, take that price, and put best offer on.
Yeah, I would look on WorthPoint, Kathy. I think that's because I bet there are, and I would put like antique medical exam would be like a blanket search I would use. I wouldn't try and find the specific year, and then I would look for ones that are close to that is what I would do. And if I would assume there probably are some. I bet there are some. If there aren't, I would just price them high. All right, here is your dolphin. I see the line. Here is your dolphin, Miss Kathy.
Super chat.
Cheryl, you're already a member. What happened? Cheryl's been a member. I'll give you a dolphin. Maybe she changed her level. I don't know. All right, here's your dolphin. She's been in my member chats. I know that. Here you go.
Welcome to the flipping family.
All right, Ann Holland, thank you so much. I know Ann and I have been emailing back and forth. I appreciate the $10 super chat. I hope you can find somebody that will work out good for you. Here is your dolphin.
Super chat.
Do I see Cheryl again? Cheryl sent a $10 super chat and said, I haven't told you guys lately, but I'm so appreciative of all of your guidance and moral support over the last 3 months. Can't wait to see what the next 3 months bring. So thank you. We appreciate you watching. We appreciate your support. I love your look in that because that looks like one of my looks, especially like my thumbnail look in your picture. That's like a thumbnail look for me. All right, you get a different dolphin, Cheryl. Here you go.
Super chat.
She changed her levels. She leveled up. I hope you leveled up, not down. Either way, it's okay. Collins on the Move wants to know if any of us sell on Amazon.
I don't even buy on Amazon. I'm the only person in the country that doesn't. Wow. I would never sell there because I don't buy on Amazon.
Interesting.
We have sold on Amazon. We sold on Amazon way back when it was just books. But no, not.
I do not sell on Amazon, but I surely buy stuff on Amazon.
I buy a lot of stuff on Amazon. A lot. I love my Amazon Prime. I think I still have stuff in FBA fulfilled by Amazon that I sent in over 2 years ago. It's books that were like long tail, and I'm just letting them slowly, like, they can burn them or sell them. I don't care what they do with them. I haven't sent any in over 2 years. I had to kind of decide whether or not I wanted to do eBay or Amazon, because those are both big platforms that take quite a bit of attention if you want to do well. And when I stopped doing Amazon, my eBay ended up like quadrupling in sales when I concentrated on eBay. The other platforms I see is like kind of like smaller platforms, which is going to bring up the next question from Emily. Have any of us sold on any other platforms offered on List Perfectly, such as Depop, Tradesy, or Grailed?
I created a Depop account. That's as far as I went. Drew Profit Monsters list on Depop and sells a lot there in the way of t-shirts and things like that. So as far as like someone in the community I would point you at for one of those would maybe be Profit Monsters.
Yeah.
I haven't done on Depop, Tradesy, or Grailed. For us, it's eBay, Etsy, and Poshmark.
Yeah, I haven't done it on any of those platforms.
I don't remember which one, but I got kicked off of either Depop or Grailed, and I don't even know why. Like, I only had like 5 things listed, and they're like, your account has been permanently banned. I'm like, okay. Like, I never even sold anything. I don't know. But I don't really source the kind of stuff that go on Depop, Tradesy, or Grailed. I think. I know Depop and Grailed are more like vintage t-shirt stuff, I feel like. I'm not sure about Tradesy. What is Tradesy? Christopher. Sorry.
I feel like Tradesy like high-end designer, and then Depop and Grailed are more like vintage streetwear than anything. I think Tradesy could be like it's streetwear too, but I think it's more like designer style stuff.
Which is stuff I don't have either. So I like my only one I'm thinking about adding is trying to figure out the whole Instagram thing, especially if I'm already doing it. We do eBay, Poshmark, Etsy, and Facebook are the ones that we do. All right, what's Christopher got to say? I'm ready.
Ready?
I will not. Just tell me you don't want the dolphin. If you guys send a super chat and you don't want the dolphin, just tell me. And you don't have to promise it's the last one. I'm not going to complain, and I will not give any dolphins. I promise. Now that I know you don't want the dolphin, I need to figure out something else. I need to figure out something else cool. I'm going to try and figure out a cool like super chat thing and make it myself.
Dalton do something.
Oh yeah, that would be cute.
He's so sweet.
He's been a mimer bird lately, which is good and not good. So earlier, Brooke was talking about listing, like my mom was complaining because my mom does the cross posting. So Brooke listed 150. I listed 100. So my mom comes in and she's like, what is this? There's more than one page of 200. I'm like, I'm sorry. And Brooke said, oh, it's just money, honey. And for like 5 minutes, all Dalton said was, it's just money, honey. It's just money, honey. I'm like, I need to record him. I'm thinking of making him TikTok, like just for him, because he says it's like kids say the darndest things, and he's only around adults, so he really says
that could be your super chat. Dalton saying it's just money, honey.
It's just money, honey. That or something about going fishing or something. All right, who else we got? Let's hit it. Okay, Lynn Stevens, thank you so much. $10 super chat. How long does a tracking number update show on eBay? She sold a $165 item yesterday, an item from a $35 grab bag. It was picked up by the mailman yesterday, but there was no update until now.
I don't think the problem was that the tracking didn't update. I think the problem was likely that your mail person didn't scan the package. So you can either bribe your mail person with like Little Debbie's or take the packages into your post office yourself and ensure that they're scanned.
Yeah.
I can't complain because the little town we live in, I'm the only one at the post office ever. And so they're waiting for my packages and they scan them.
Scott, we can work.
Oh man, I have the complete opposite. They see me, they're like, we don't like you, go away. No. And sometimes, though, I have noticed that eBay slightly does lag. If you look it up on USPS, like actually on their website, like type in their tracking or just copy and paste their tracking. I've sent it to buyers before. They're like, "Where's my package? It says that you created this a day ago," and then the post office is actually showing it's been scanned, and eBay is not showing it's been
Oh,
scanned.
it didn't update. So
Oh.
But
maybe
that's
there is some
far and
lag.
few between. Far and few between, because I checked
Okay.
that first when somebody messages me, and then I check it, and then sometimes it's only been 3 or 4 times over the last 3 years, but it has happened. Most of the time, they don't scan it though.
I think I agree with Rachel. We got a new post office person that doesn't like us either, Julian. So we're in that boat with you.
It's the worst.
There was a long line today, and we only had 6 items all on the scan form. And Brad asked her, he said, "Hey, they're all in the scan form." They know us. We come in every day. "They're all in the scan form. Can I just sit them on the counter?" And she said, "I'll be with you in a moment," and made him wait in line. So,
yeah.
you know, but I think I agree. It's probably the post person didn't update it and scan it. It's weird though, because we bring them in and we see them scan them, and on Poshmark, some will like immediately message me and say, "Thank you for shipping," and then other ones don't message me until like hours later. So I don't know if maybe there's some glitches or they're batch sending the scans. I'm not sure. All right, let me give Lynn her dolphin. She didn't say no dolphin. Now everybody's going to start saying no dolphin. I won't get to play my dolphin anymore. Here you go, Lynn.
Super chat.
I appreciate all of you. Miss Rhonda said, "I'm new to reselling. How do I get buyers to leave feedback? In 6 months, I've sold 10 items, but only one person gave me feedback."
It's just it'll grow over time. I don't ask for feedback because you always run the risk of, no news is good news. If they didn't say anything, then they didn't say anything bad. So just let it ride and keep selling things. And the more you sell, if 10% of your items get feedback, then, once you've sold 1 million things, 10% of that's going to be really high. So just keep selling.
Yeah, I don't think there's, you could probably improve the ratio there if you put a nice note in with your packages. But the reality of it is that not everybody's going to leave feedback. And I think we've had probably 70,000 sales since I started eBay, and I have 6,000 feedback.
I would say that actually 10% is pretty good for feedback. I think that you're right on the money there.
Yeah.
So you're not doing anything wrong, because that's about right.
Yeah, no, that's totally normal. And if you're trying to build your feedback up, I would recommend go buy cheap stuff like pens or Post-it notes or boxes or polys that you need anyways, just to get your feedback number up. But I will never ask them to leave feedback because I feel like that's asking them to tell me something is wrong. And I'm like Rachel, like, no news is great news. I don't want to hear from you. I'm good. So I tried doing the whole note thing, but I will tell you, as an eBay buyer, and I buy quite a bit on eBay as well as Amazon, those notes don't even get read by me. They're like thrown in the trash. So I don't even pay attention. And I actually am pretty horrible myself about leaving feedback on stuff that I bought. So yeah. Raining Retro NC, if you have sent out offers that are still in the 48-hour window and then put something on sale, what price do they get?
I believe that they can accept your offer or they can just go buy the item, because I did that before. I mean, it depends on which way they buy it. If they buy it through accepting your offer, they may be paying a higher price than if they just went to your listing and bought it from there. Because I've had the opposite happen where people think they're accepting your offer, but they go. So I know they can buy it for the price that's shown to the public and not at your private offer, because people have accidentally bought it at the full price. And it's like, what do? You could do a partial refund if you want to be stand up about it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's any more complicated than that. And for the most part, if they buy from your offer, they won't ever see the item on the sale price because it's already gone.
Man, they both covered that so perfectly. I got nothing.
Yeah. I'm careful though. Like I actually, because I run a sale constantly, so I don't send offers until my sale's on, because I don't want somebody to be pissed. I send them a $20 offer and then they see it's on sale for $18 and they're like, what the heck? So I don't send offers until my sale kicked in because of that. Rose is saying to take the boat to Homosassa Springs and pull up into one of the restaurants. So The two marinas we leave from are both on Homosassa on the river. So we're going to go to the springs, and then that might be a good plan. Take my mom to one of the restaurants if we can park. Listen, Brad and I have never really driven boats. And so it was really windy when we went out last week, and you get your bait on the river. Like you pull in, like there's no little stores around. You have to go like on the water to the marina. Brad tries to pull in, didn't make it first time. He's like, you want to do it? Because when we did our little training, I did great. I tried and was like, never mind, get back on the wheel. And Brad did it perfect the second time, but the wind was kicking and like throwing the boat all over. But that is a good idea to take. I'll have to tell Brad, we'll pull it. He will pull it. I need to just do it. If there's nobody around, I'll try again. But there's always people around. But it was funny because the guy that came in after us couldn't park either. We had to push his boat off ours. He like hit our boat. Like, so it's not just us that can't park a boat. So I didn't feel bad after that. You know, we're learning. Sorry for the people that we're learning. We haven't hit anything, at least. We haven't hit anything.
Winning.
But we do have insurance. The boat club provides insurance. The most we could pay, no matter how much damage we do, is $500. So that at least is a little reassuring. They're going to watch this and they're not going to like, they're going to be like, no, you can't take the boat out. Yeah. You know, I'm scrolling. You guys have been chatting a lot. I'm scrolling.
While you're scrolling, I saw that Gino said hi, and I didn't want to interrupt anybody, but hi back, Gino.
Hi, Gino. Colin, I don't know if you came in late. We went over promoted listings. I think it was one of the first couple of questions. So maybe if you want to watch the back, we all went over that. Kathy P, and this might be a different opinion from all of us, Kathy. So, and we have discussed it before. She said, when would you recommend getting an eBay store? She started in March. She has 183 active with 43 sales.
The biggest benefits, I feel like, obviously, if you run out of free listings and you need a store, that would be the number one step. That's the first thing to consider. Second thing to consider would be if you travel a lot, if you need that time away or vacation mode, because you only get that with a store. I wouldn't get a store for like the discounted shipping. It's like a $25 coupon 4 times a year. So that alone probably wouldn't be, I mean, it's a perk, but it's not a reason to get a store. If you're running out of free listings or if you really need that vacation mode would be my 2 biggest tips.
Again, everything Rachel said is exactly accurate. I would only add to that if you are positive that this is your business, then, and you're going to treat it like, what do you say? Go ahead and say it, Rachel.
Treat your business like your business.
Yeah. And if that's where you're at, then go ahead and open a store. If you know that you're going to be consistent listing and moving forward, then, but if you're still not sure, then I wouldn't get a store.
Yeah, I would echo that. I would say if you're just going to, do this as a, you're not really listing a lot, but it's not to the point where you're not out of free listings yet and you don't really go away a lot and all that stuff, I wouldn't get a store. You could go ahead and just keep listing until, because you're not listing a whole bunch, you're not going to hit those, use up your free ones. But if you know that you're going to your plans are to grow, I immediately got one. Like as soon as I could, I got whatever the mid-tier one is or whatever. But definitely if you're passing your free listings and it makes sense and you can save money. That's fine.
Everyone in the chat down there is saying that vacation mode is available without a store now. So that must be something new.
They commented that on our last live because we talked about it. Yeah, I was going to say that. I think the only feature not available is sales now to people with a store. And I tell everybody 250. Once you exhaust your free listings, that's when I would do it. Other than that, unless, like, I agree with Scott, and it might be motivation to you if you're paying and you're like, I'm paying for this many listings, I need to get listing. So it might be good as a motivational thing. Like I increased mine. Now we can have up to 10,000 listings, which I thought we would cap at 5,000. We're now at almost 5,300. So it doesn't look like we're capping out at 5. But, it might be motivation for you, to get those listings so you get your money's worth. Miss Judy wants to know, where are you at in Missouri? And she wants to know, have you ever gone to the Kansas City bins? She's trying to find other resellers in this area for support.
I could get to Florida before I could get to Kansas City. I'm in the Boot Hill. So I'm in very, very far southeast Missouri, almost Arkansas. I've never been to the Kansas City bins, but I've been to both of the bins in St. Louis, and they're pretty cool.
We drive from Texas to Duluth, Minnesota, right up I-35 every year. And one year we stopped and spent the night in KC, and I went to the bins there, and it was pouring rain outside, and it was an absolute madhouse inside there. But they ran it with enough authority to keep the insane people from running the asylum. So I enjoyed it.
And Julian and I are we're not near Missouri. It sounds like Kansas City bins are like Orlando bins, though. It's like a serious free-for-all in Orlando when I went. Cindy is asking if Flipcon is good for resellers or content creators, and was told it would not be beneficial for resellers. What I have been told is that it is for resellers, not for content creators. That is not my understanding. My understanding is there will be panels and we will discuss reselling. I believe it's going to be like 5 to 7 hours of reselling. And then, yeah, it's going to be networking, which happened at my camps as well. It's like the people from my camps, and I'm sure quite a few of them are in chat, they exchange email addresses, they exchange phone numbers, they are friends. You meet other people that are doing the same thing that you're doing. And the relationships is a big part of that as well. So I would say that it should be beneficial for resellers. I'm not running it. I'm not running it, so I don't know the exact setup, so I can't guarantee that. But it's Flipcon, which is flipping items, so I would assume it's going to be pretty heavy on reseller base.
I've heard Josh echo the same thing that you just said, that it's really, I mean, he's even encouraged people not to think that it's a meet and greet to meet him and Haley or Phoenix Resells, that it's for resellers.
Yeah. And I mean, we're going to do panels and there'll be questions and you'll get to meet all of the content creators that are going to be there are resellers, and most of them are doing pretty decent at reselling. So I think it will be good for resellers. Kathleen's asking, have I done a video on how to bid on high bid? I have done one. I see you saying your local is only Home Depot returns. That does happen. I see it in my sourcing, but you're probably going to have to expand how far you're willing to drive. I actually have to search 250 miles. I don't drive. Well, I would, I'm not going to lie, but I typically only drive like 150 miles at most, but high bid gives an option of 100 miles or 250. So in order to see the really good auctions, I have to search 250 miles out. And then I know how far the cities are from me. So if you're not seeing good stuff, you're probably going to have to expand the search and drive a little more, or just keep searching, because there's new auctions up every day on there. So if you're only checking like once a month, you might be missing some good auctions. Laura Cox, on a recent chat, Richard mentioned he sold pumpkin spice chips for a reduction at Walmart. Does eBay have any rules about selling packaged food products?
If you're going to sell it as like in the food category, it can't be expired. So if you're selling something that's like vintage or unopened, you would sell it kind of like you would perfume. You're selling the bottle and not the perfume. You're selling like the container or as a collectible. So if it's going in the groceries, it can't be expired, obviously.
Yeah, I think for us, because I list and forget it, I don't go back into looking at the things that I've listed. I just don't list food because it could have been not expired when I listed it, and then 6 months later I run out of time. So I just don't list it because I don't want to have to worry about keeping up with the times.
Yeah, I don't list food either, just for that reason also, and because I know like it probably wouldn't sell, and then next thing you know, something's growing mold in here, and I'm like, what is that smell? And then, oh, it's that thing I listed 7 years ago. I finally found it, because no, I don't list any type of food.
Yeah, and I used to, but I don't list any anymore. I think if it's intended to be eaten, you need to make sure it's not expired, and maybe put a note on your phone or something in case it doesn't sell before it expires. That way you don't get dinged for it.
Hey, can I try and answer a question real quick in the comment?
Yeah.
Somebody is asking if there is a Goodwill bins in the Dallas area. There is one in Fort Worth, but for anybody in the chat, you can get onto Google and search for the Goodwill outlet stores all over the U.S.
Yeah, they're
And-
under outlet, guys. It's not under bins. You want to put in Goodwill outlet is what you want to search for.
Right. Sorry,
Okay.
thank you.
No, you're fine, Scott. Jen Hastings said, I'm new and eBay is holding some of my sales money. Is there a rhyme or reason to this? Do I just have to wait until they see I am legit? The money they are holding is 10 times my available.
Yeah, I think they just want to make sure you're not a scammer. I guess I can appreciate that they're putting some steps in place, because the more they protect buyers, they'll eventually protect sellers too. So yeah, they just want to make sure you're not a scammer.
That's all there is to it.
Yep.
Yeah, and I agree. Barbara's asking, Julian, how did you know your customer? Okay, so I'm gonna try and pull this
You
up.
have
Let's
one?
see. You have? I think I have one. Let me look at my solds.
It's
Okay,
it's
I
normally
do.
sold.
So if you see here, like this Harley pin sold at the bottom of it, there it says repeat buyer. So when they send an offer or buy something, it says repeat buyer there on the bottom. So like my Harley pins, I'm seeing it a lot. I saw it a lot on the ornaments. So it is like category specific stuff that I'm seeing repeat buyers for. And don't forget, my two $3,000 purses was a repeat buyer that bought $900 Tiffany ornaments for me a year before. Wow. So they sent me $3,200 on $3,800. I feel that was a great offer and I accepted. And I knew it was a legit buyer because it was a repeat buyer. So it wasn't.
I'd like you to send them a Christmas card.
Hello, thank you.
Thank you so
I'd
much.
like, you know, I haven't even checked to see if those are delivered. I should go check now. Emily wants to know how many listings on average do each of us have?
I am just shy of 1,600 right now.
I am right at 1,000.
Had 2,100. I am all the way down to 1,940.
I'm loading.
Had a good
I am
weekend.
at 5,283. And my $3,000 purses have been delivered and we have not heard anything and we are fine with that. She never left feedback on the $900 Tiffany ornaments either. So, you know. Look, Farside Jack sold a $90 pair of American Eagles.
Wow.
That's amazing. Hold on. I'm scrolling. If you know something, Don Gillespie, if you know something will be worth more later, do you wait or to list it later?
I feel like Donna may be referencing like holiday or seasonal items, and just keep in mind that that's not necessarily true, because if someone's looking for ornaments right now, yours might be the only one or one of only 10 listed. So there's a chance you could actually command a higher price now versus later. If you knew for a fact that it's going to be worth more later, I guess it depends on how big it is. I mean, most people have a death pile. I don't right now, but most people have a death pile. So keep it in your closet if you know for a fact. But if you're thinking seasonally it's going to be worth more later, it might not be.
I listed.
Yeah, I listed. I'm in the business of flipping quick. I like selling stuff. But if you know it's going to be worth more, then I would go buy a ton of it. All of it.
Right. Well, that's like Legos though. So
that's true. But yeah,
like,
Legos.
For me, I'm going to list it because most Legos are going to go up in value. So I think Dave's in the chat, Midwest Picker. I swear he had a closet full of Legos. I'm pretty sure. So some people, who'd we have on here that was doing Legos, Julian? Who was that? I can't remember.
But they literally bought Legos to invest
like
in
it's
Legos.
stock.
Yeah,
it's like stock market.
The flipping accountant buys a lot of Lego sets.
It wasn't Justin. It was somebody else. It was a smaller channel that like sent them to holding areas.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of cool, like warehouses. Now I'm gonna have to look through and figure it out.
A lot of research was done too. Like he wasn't just
Lego
going.
Can't make it out of my house. We're collectors, and I won't sell them.
I think Dalton will like them. Dalton likes building, so we'll probably end up having Legos but they aren't going to be like sealed. They're going to be like where I'm stepping on them. So I list, and I say this all the time, like Christmas, seasonal, holiday, if that is what you're talking about, you could list it now and list it higher. and either it won't sell until the market gets up to that, or you can list it at what it is now. Me, I would rather sell it, get rid of it. That's the same thing with holding like seasonal clothing. And my thoughts on that is I sell international. So it's probably every range of weather somewhere that I ship. So like coats, pants, all that stuff. I list everything year round. I don't stop and wait. Cindy's asking me, but I don't know the answer. I mean, I do know the answer. She's asking if I have a business page for my Facebook marketplace listing. I see the option for selling as a business. I think I just sell under my name. Does anybody else know anything about this?
I sure don't.
My Facebook page is actually not under Chachingking. It was my personal one. And so all of the people that are on there following me are former students and teachers that work for me and stuff like that. So it's the main reason I don't do more on Facebook Marketplace. So no.
Mine's under my personal, anything that I've sold.
Yeah, mine's under my personal as well. Lori wants to know, do all of us post tracking numbers after we ship?
I remember those days before I bought postage on eBay. When you buy it on eBay, it does it automatically for you, Lori. And I used to sit out in the post office parking lot and upload those afterwards.
Yeah, I only ship through eBay on eBay, so tracking is automatic.
That's right.
Yeah, and I would agree. And I would say if you're not printing your labels, I would definitely print them because you save 30%. So you're losing money that you could be saving. Plus, you don't have to type in that long tracking number yourself. So, and you can just print it from a regular printer, like a $20 or $30 Walmart printer, and tape them on until it is, reasonable to get a thermal. You don't have to use a thermal to print. You can use any kind of printer. Yes, and I agree with Singing Mermaid. Like, if you want more feedback, the way to do it is to buy. Like, most sellers, if they're bigger sellers, have automatic feedback. Like, soon as you pay, you're going to have feedback like that. I have automatic feedback. It rotates between 5 generic thank you, and you'll get it automatically. But don't go buy a bunch from the same seller because each seller's thing only counts one time. So towards your feedback score. So know that. I see Dave leaving a super chat. What does Dave have to say? He didn't stock up.
So he got busted.
What?
Dave was he knowingly doing this?
I think Dave is joking. That's what I think.
Okay.
I think they were ones that he had that he collected, and they were in your closet. I remember, Dave. I remember. All right. Here's your dolphin, Dave.
Super chat.
Oh, I did it again. Oh, I found it again. I live in northern New York. This is from Dawn. I sold something to a buyer in New Orleans. I put the item in the mailbox this morning. Tracking on eBay and USPS show it delivered. I'm sure all of us have had this happen.
Yeah, so I guess he goes on probably to say that the buyer didn't get the item.
No, I think that what happened is that the postal carrier, instead of scanning it as picked up, scanned it as delivered. So it will still get to them, Dawn. It will still get to them. I would just wait.
If the customer sends you a question, just tell them to wait a day or two and it'll probably show up.
Yeah, you think it got scanned incorrectly. Miss Judy wants to know, do you request an item back if the customer stated it was damaged? She's saying it only cost her money, I'm assuming, to get it back once it's damaged. So what do we do in that situation?
It depends on like what the extent of the damage is. The first thing I'm going to do is ask for photos of it because it might not even be damaged, or they may not even want to mess with it, and the whole ordeal could be dead there. If it's damaged in a way that I could resell it and it's fairly inexpensive to ship it back to me, I want it back. I want to try to recoup some of my losses. If I mailed a stereo receiver once and it arrived damaged and I did not want that back because it was going to be $30 to ship it back to me, I refunded their money and apologized.
So for me, it really does depend on what it is. Most of the time, I want the item back just to keep buyers honest. I did sell a little bitty ornament to a lady in England, and I knew that it was fragile. And in the long story short, I probably should have packed it better. Her, I just refunded. I wasn't going to ask her to ship it back.
I just had this actually. I had something break in transit, and they just on the show they showed me a couple pictures of it, and that's what I was doing on my phone. And I don't want it back. It's like broke, and it only costed me like $3, and it was only a $20 item, and it was going to cost like $10 to ship it back to me. I'm sorry, and they might be able to salvage some of that, and that's what I kind of told them. So I didn't give them a full refund. But if it's something that I can resell and get some of my money back, or only a section of it, I'll go ahead and I'll want it back. But a lot of times, 'cause I don't spend. I mean, I don't sell a whole bunch of high end items. A lot of times, I actually just refund them because that it wasn't going to be worth any type of headache because it was only worth. I only spent $3 on it, and it was only $20. Item.
Yeah, I'm going to agree and say I want a picture first so that I can verify that there is actual damage. If I have the feeling that they are trying to fish for a partial refund, then I will tell them they need to open a return. But then what I will do is I just refund them, because as a top rated seller, if they open a return, they cannot leave you negative feedback. So even people that I know I am not going to send back the item, I still require them to open a return so that I am protected by that policy. And then any negative feedback that might come out of it is taken away. Laura wants to know what's our opinion on selling on Etsy, especially clothing.
I haven't gotten into Etsy. I feel like I could do well over there because I sell so much vintage and like one of a kind type of items. Scott would probably do well over there too. But I can't get past the insertion fee. And I feel like I really need to establish like a niche and research it more if I'm going to pay to even have my listings visible over there before they even sell. So I haven't really got on there yet. But I do think it's a higher price market for vintage items.
I can't. I do sell quite a bit on Etsy. It's the vintage stuff, and I normally I get more for it because they're not sending me offers. So I know that there's a 20-cent fee, and the longer it sits, but most of my items are in a price point that it isn't going to clobber me paying a little bit to have them on Etsy. So I like Etsy. If eBay went nuts on me and did something crazy, I would be listing on Etsy tomorrow.
I don't think I sell in the right categories. We try to get on Etsy, and then to just list things was annoying. And then I sell golf clubs and tools and electronics and stuff. So nothing, I'm sure that stuff might sell there, but I think it would sit a really long time in my market. It's definitely on like eBay or Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, and we sell on Etsy, but it's probably our lowest selling platform. Poshmark sells more, Facebook Marketplace sells more. As far as clothing, I don't do a ton of clothing, but I have sold a few vintage clothing pieces there, and we mark up 30% from eBay to Etsy, and we charge more. And I'm getting probably like 3 or 4 sales a week on Etsy. And then Poshmark is more like 5 to 10, and Facebook Marketplace is like 15 to 20. All of them, I will tell you, eBay one day will beat out every single other platform. So that's definitely our primary one. Miss Tina is asking me, she said she onboards to Whatnot tomorrow. Any tip? I have no tips because I have not done a Whatnot. I'm approved to sell in there. I have not. I don't want to do it haphazardly. I want to make sure I'll be able to commit to it and do what I feel is right, which would probably be weekly auctions. And I don't know that I have the time for that. I can't, I have to find fish. I'm like, this might be years now. I have to find the fish before I can make a fishing channel. That is the plan. If we go swimming tomorrow, though, I did buy the cool dome for my GoPro to do half above water, half underwater recording. So I'm probably going to bring that. Maybe I can get some cool stuff of Dalton in the water at the springs, and maybe we'll see some manatees. So I might have some other stuff I can throw up. Mike wants Julian to go in the hot seat.
I told him never, and then I actually recanted, and I said when he sells a $1,500 teacup, then we can put me.
Okay. There you go, Mike. You have
He
to
said he's
sell
going to go look for one right
$1,500
now.
teacup.
Yep.
He probably can find one in
I
California.
know. I
bet
should
he
have said
can find one.
2,000.
Should have said 2,000. Oh, you said 1,000. You said it.
No,
you
I
didn't
went
say
back.
1,500.
What? I
You went back?
and said, I think I said 1,500.
That's not.
Okay, we'll take
that's
1,000.
definitely
We'll take 1,000.
doable.
Yeah.
Dawn says she lives in northern. Oh, we already answered this. We already answered you, right, Dawn? I think it got put in twice. Yes. See, I should record myself being a dumb and be like, "This is what you don't do when you go boating."
Dude, they're
That
funny
would
to
probably
watch.
get a ton of views. Well, I probably could sit at one of the restaurants because I know we jacked up and the next guy that pulled in did too. So it probably wouldn't take me very long to get like a boating oops video. That's a good idea. I'll just go sit and drink me some Mai Tais at the bar and record people doing what I do. But my boat will be tied up. I'm scrolling. You guys were talking. Krause House, Thrift, and Thrift. Do you guys have a certain amount of items you want to list every day? And do you list every day?
I aim at listing every day. I typically keep a draft bank. My store's a little different right now since I just emptied my death pile. I aim at 10 a day. The other day I listed 55 in a day, but aiming at least 10 is good for me.
We don't aim for a certain amount. I list between 5 and 10 a day. I try to list somewhere in the neighborhood of $500 worth a day, but I list more by amount than I do the number.
Yeah, I've been doing that too. More by how much it is that I'm listing, like $200, $300, $400. That is, if I list 2 things and they cost $600, hey, I'm doing pretty good that day. I can go ahead and do whatever. I will have to tell you this, that I'll be honest, in the last week, I haven't listed anything and my sales have been super high for some reason. We got this house and it was just, the video is coming out tomorrow, but I've put all my time and energy into something else and YouTube in the last week. And so I haven't listed anything in like a week, and my sales have not dipped. Now, next week, I'm sure I'll be on here like, my sales are terrible. But right now, they're still holding strong. I got to get the listing. I got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so for myself, I said it earlier, but I'm doing 15 minimum for myself to photograph and list. And then I've been trying to keep up with my listers. So in the morning, I will make all the drafts active, which is hard when my daughter, motivated, list 100 license plates in one day, and then I have to go make them all active. So that's the same thing as like me sitting editing. I like get bored. So like I did 50 in the morning, did 15 myself, and then I did the other 50 at night because I'm trying, like I'm paying them to do those listings. So I want to have the benefit of those listings being available for sale rather than me paying and I'm really behind. And for a while I had like over 180 in there, but now I have zero. Unless she could have went crazy and listed 50 while we were live. That's not like out of the realm of possibility.
So I talked to Kat's daughter at the retreat, and because somebody asked earlier about motivation, and because I didn't know her before that, and I asked her, I said, "Do you just love eBay? Do you love this stuff?" And she goes, "No, I love getting paid."
There you go.
And that's what it's about. And it's funny because I have multiple listers and I've had other ones, and who's motivated and who's not, and some people might have other stuff going on. Like my daughter-in-law got a $40 paycheck this week and my daughter got a $400 one. They both have access to the same exact stuff and could do the same, so it really, and I think that's how it is in your business too, guys. What you put in is what you'll get out. And I mean, I am an overachiever in that area, but if you're not getting a ton of sales, work more, list more, and they will come. Miss Deborah, I think she's asking like our opinion. She said she started selling ceramics and has a lot of large bowls. So her thought was to extend shipping to 3 days to give her time to locate a large box. So I think she's asking like our thoughts on doing that.
I think the better idea would be to get the box maybe before you list it, flatten that down. I've heard a lot of people, probably heard Scott say that, I'm not going to list it if I don't have the box to ship it, because like doing your handling time to 3 days just for that reason is just giving the buyer another reason to choose a different listing. If you truly need 3-day handling time, then that's different, but just find the box beforehand.
That's the real answer, is if you've got something is going to be tricky, you're going to hate it when it sells if you're not already ready to have it shipped. And you need to, Rachel has a video where it's a soccer tournament kind of thing where they're shipping a vase and she's packed it in an old bed. You need to go watch that one.
Packed it in an old bed. I love it.
I'm 100% guilty on this. I just shipped out it's a huge receiver. It was like 32 pounds or something. I didn't have a box for it. And it's a real pain, like straight up a real pain. I had to make my own boxes. That's why you always see a whole bunch of tape around my stuff, because I have big boxes, but then like I have a lot of big items. I sold a big sign the other day that took my box for my receiver. Now I don't have a box for, you know what I'm saying? So I have multiple very large items, which means I don't have enough room for a box pile that big. And if I flatten the boxes, I might as well throw them away, because I'll never put them back together to see how big they are for some reason, because I'm lazy. So I keep all my boxes actually where I can look at them and say, hey, this is going to fit in there. So my thing is that I actually did extend my shipping for some of my big items for 2 days. And just to give me enough time, for the exact same reason, to give me enough time to be like, where can I find this gigantic box at? Like chairs. I have a big table that I just listed. So there's certain things that I know I don't have a box for that. When that sells, like he just said, it's going to be a pain. Like I know, like I like to see it because they're usually my high dollar, well over $150, $200, $300 sales. But I'm like, what am I going to get this box at? So I don't think it's a terrible idea, but
I'm going to go with Julian and go against what Scott and Rachel said and say list it and find the box after the fact. I actually have an excess of large boxes right now, and I'm thinking about getting rid, because I'm like Julian. If I break them, I have a stack of ones I broke down to like make it nice and neat, and they never got put back together again. So I'm with Julian. But we like just bought a big cooler for the boat. So we have a lot of like really big boxes right now, but I will put them together. I don't extend the shipping time though. I figure it out in 1 day. I still have 1 day handling.
got 12 hours.
Cause I will put I shipped wheelchairs that took 3 Amazon boxes to ship, taped together, but I wouldn't have been able, I probably could have bought a box that big, but it would have cost like $20 to buy a box just for that. Mm-hmm. And I would rather build it. A wheelchair is sturdy. It wasn't going to break. So it was basically just wrapping cardboard around it. With the ceramics, depending on how large the bowls are, I do keep on hand, because I do a lot of like 12-inch bowls. I keep 14-inch by 14-inch boxes on hand. And that covers a lot of the mixing bowls that are standard. But everything else, I figure it out the same day. I'm like, oh crap. I'm like, what box? And I'll take stuff out of boxes, because like I have inventory in boxes. I'll go like dump inventory out, and I figure it out last minute. So yeah. That's why I like doing these panel shows, guys. It really depends on you and your business model and what you want to do. That's why I like doing this, is because I want people that are doing it different than I am, because there's definitely more than one way to do this business. There are tons of ways, and you can pick something from Rachel and pick something from Scott and pick something from Julian and me and make your own way that works for you. All right. Miss Elizabeth said, some people say one of the tips to get more sales is to end the listing and resell it again or sell similar. She's asking, is it true or not? I'm going to tell you this is an opinion question. You might get 4 different answers here again. And how would it affect the number of free listings?
Yeah, I think it's going to count as a new listing. So it's going to affect, like it counts off as one of your listings. But I've taken really super stale inventory and ended it, and then you don't relist, but you sell similar. And I've had the thing sell, so my opinion has to be that this does work. Now, do I do it consistently enough to really prove that? No, but I've had stale t-shirts from 2 years ago listed sell once I sold similar, or like relist as sell similar.
I've tried it. But for the most part, my stale inventory, if you look at the stuff that's the oldest stuff in my store, it's because it sucks. And so relisting it, it still sucks. So for me, it wasn't a big benefit.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Because I was going to say, like, yeah, I've tried this and it does work. I think it actually does. If you did like maybe 20 or so a day, but I think like eBay got a hold of like understood what I was doing. It only worked for like the first couple of days. And then I did it for like a week. And then after that, kind of like trickled off. But I agree 100%. My old inventory is horrible. Like, I need to just purge some of that stuff because it's nobody wants it. And somebody just bought a pair of board shorts I've had for 2 years. I'm glad they bought it. If you're in the chat and you bought these board shorts, thank you so much. But they're
You
not
had to say
good.
that while I was drinking. I almost like.
Yeah, they're not good. I mean, they're a beautiful pattern, and thank you for purchasing them. But stuff like that, it didn't matter if I did it again. So then you always have to weigh your time. Is it worth trying to do that, or just list new items that are better?
So my opinion is I don't care enough to take the time to find out. And that's because I have tons of new inventory. So I think if you have new inventory that you can get listed, it's putting that activity into your store. Now, if you don't have activity or you're away from home and you can't list, then that might be a good time to end and sell similar. For me, it would be difficult because of List Perfectly. I would be changing my item numbers and then it would mess up my catalog. So I wouldn't be able to end them all at the same time. It would make my life more difficult. But if you don't have the inventory, I say do it. If you have excess time, I have negative time. I don't have excess time to do it, to find out I'm selling, $12, $15, $20,000 a month without doing it. So obviously I'm doing something right. And I'm not going to stop what I'm doing to try and do something else to see if it helps because I'm happy with where my sales are. I will say I have, like, when sales have been consistently slow, I will bulk edit all of my items and decrease them by a penny or increase them by a penny. And that kind of refreshes that listing, even though it's only a penny price difference. So that's another trick that you could try too. We're going to take a couple more questions. We are almost at 10 o'clock. Miss Tarita wants to know, how do you know if an item will be long tail?
Experience will tell you more than anything. There's no formula to figure it out. Just the longer you're a reseller, you'll figure out, like, I'm going to hang on to this. If it's something that you're just going to be waiting around for the right buyer. And then the sell-through rate could tell you if it's long tail, though. I guess somewhat there is a formula. If there's 100 listed and only 10 sold, there's 10% sell-through rate. Yours needs to wait
in 3 months. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that could tell you.
For me, a lot of times, if you have a really rare item and there aren't comps and nobody is selling any, a lot of those, I'm going to price it really high with the expectation that I'm going to sit on it for a while. It still only sits until the right person sees it, which could be tomorrow or it could be 2 years from now. And so a lot of times you can just tell it's because I'm not going to give it away to the first person that sends me a note. I'm going to wait.
Yeah, mine would be first. I would look at like the sell-through rate on eBay, and then I would go to like Worth Point. But Worth Point can show you like, oh, it hasn't sold in 10 years, and you have the only one, so maybe it is kind of valuable, or maybe people are looking for it. I've seen that, and also kind of like if it's super rare. Again, I just picked up that jacket that there's none like it anywhere. I can't find anything on this, and I have it for super high, and it might sell tomorrow, might sell in 3 years, but I'm not getting off of that high price. I could go down a little bit, but I mean, I'm not going to give it away for like $100. I have the only one.
Right.
Nobody
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, you're good with stuff that's common that you can find. Rachel's right. Use the sell-through rate. If there's 100 listed, 100 sold, that means it'll probably sell within 3 months. If there's 100 listed and 300 sold, it'll probably sell really fast within a month. I typically find stuff that there's not much information on. So there might be 5 listed and 2 sold, but that's definitely a way. If you're finding stuff that isn't as common, there's no way to know. Like Scott said, you need the right buyer, which they could come around tomorrow, or it could be 2 years before they decide to search for that item. So
I have
there's
a
not
good
like
example
a
of that
guaranteed way.
right here. I've got a pennant that is from the 1972 Super Bowl, and it is from New Orleans, and it shows that the Miami Dolphins were the Super Bowl champions. But if you know anything about NFL, the Dallas Cowboys won the Super Bowl that year. So this is one of the ones they printed up before the game. And so
before it ended, to have it ready to go.
So it would be ready. And I couldn't find one that had ever sold or ever been listed or anywhere on Google. So right now I have it in an auction starting at $600. I've had a $500 offer. But if I were to list that on just say a buy it now, I would probably put it at $1,500 with the expectation that's going to be a long tail item.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I am going to put this up and then we're going to answer one last question. Sunny's telling me not to go. Sunny, I like fishing, whether I catch fish or not. I put Sunny up here, guys. Sunny has been a good friend of mine for a long time. Sunny is only 30 away from 3,000 subscribers.
Wow.
So we have 570 people in the chat. If you guys could get Sunny to 3K tonight, that would be amazing. John, if you're still here, or Larry, if you could drop Sunny's channel link so people could go check him out, even though he's telling me not to go fishing.
I think Sunny got monetized today. Is that right?
Oh, good.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes. So let's get Sunny to 3K tonight in celebration of his getting monetized. Then I'll have 2 things to celebrate. And yeah. So Gino's Finds wants to know, do we have stuff mysteriously disappearing from our listings?
Yeah. Listing, like whole listings mysteriously disappear sometimes, and sometimes photos disappear, which is crazy. And occasionally, a shipping price might change. But yeah, sometimes I look at something and I'm like, those puzzles have been listed for like years, and then I go to search them to see why is it oh, they're not even on there. Oh, that's cool. And then I relist, and then they're sold within a week. So
this is a job that like we don't hire out, but I do hire. There's my son's friend comes in at the end of the year every year, and he will go through every bin and check my list and check eBay, Poshmark, and Etsy, and you would be shocked how many items are not listed anymore, and they don't get into a bin unless they're listed. And it isn't just eBay. It happens all the way across the board where something happened and one fell through the cracks.
I get that too. The ones that really bother me though, that sell and they mysteriously disappeared out of my inventory. They're worse. They're like, where did they go? I knew they were in this room somewhere, and now they're gone. But no, that also happens.
Yeah, I probably do. I probably should, but I don't know if I could find anybody that would be willing to do what Scott said with 5,100 items. That would probably take them like a month to go through all of my bin. Yeah, the whole year. And then I'd be adding stuff, and then there'd be more stuff, and but like, and I think me and Julian have talked about this before. I've seen stuff that I'm like, that is so cool. Why hasn't it sold? And I'll search, and then I see that it's not listed anymore. So like, if I see stuff that I think should have sold already, I will look it up, like when I'm pulling other stuff, just to check and see. What are you showing us?
Sonny made 3,000. He's at 3,000.
Yay! All right. Speaking of Sunny always wants us to talk about YouTube, and the questions don't come up often. So we will end in celebration of Sunny's 3,000 subscribers with a question from Sunny. How do you make good YouTube titles and thumbnails?
First of all, congratulations, Sunny. That's awesome. Second of all, I got some really good advice that kind of changed the way that I made my thumbnails, and it was Josh Harry Tornado. He was giving out free advice to whoever would take it, and I took it, and it changed the way I do thumbnails, and it changed my channel. Quit saying exactly what you're doing in the video in your title, okay? No one wants to know, I went to Goodwill today. They want to know the craziest part that happened in that. So take your whole video and pick out the one most interesting thing, not clickbait. Don't lie to your audience, but the most interesting thing, and put that, and keep your keep the wording on the screen really short. I always keep the words on the left side because the timestamp on YouTube appears on the right, and it'll cover up your words.
The right bottom. Yeah, watch the right bottom.
Yeah, so mine stay on the left, limited words, expressions. I don't know if it works across the board, but I find if I don't put my face in the thumbnail, then I don't get as many clicks. So I'm always in my thumbnail somewhere. And then keep your titles semi-short, but include some keywords.
I would say that putting your face into the thumbnail varies. For some of us, it probably doesn't help as much as it might for Rachel. So, and also, I would have your description. Don't use the exact same words in the description that you use in your thumbnail. You get an opportunity to have the characters there. I would have those vary from what's in the thumbnail.
I'm not going to lie, Sonny, I have no idea because my two biggest are exactly opposite of what they just said, because that is solid advice what they just said. My two biggest ones are huge, millions views, right? And they both they literally, one says, I just looked, says,
Nothing with the red arrow.
Yeah, has a red arrow. It is the worst thumbnail, worst title. It repeats itself, 1.3 million. And my other one repeats itself, 1.3 million. The worst titles ever. And then if you go down the list on my biggest videos, they make no sense. They literally are like, I found something good today at the Goodwill or something. And it got 200,000 views. Then I'll get a good one with my good expression. And I've tried, and I got blurry stuff in there and everything's looking good. And I'll get 10,000 views or 5,000 or 1,000 views. And it's like, you know what, YouTube? I quit. I don't know what you're doing to me. So I don't have a clue, Sonny. But when you figure it out, you just let me know.
I think though with those like Julian, and Julian doesn't put his face in a lot anymore. I am like Rachel, mine do better with my face. So most of my thumbnails, you're going to see me looking stupid. Somebody told me, do you know how stupid your thumbnails are? Well, you know what? They're working. Yeah. That's all I got to say. People are clicking on them. So do I know I look stupid? Yeah, I look stupid on purpose because it makes people want to click on me. So I agree with Rachel on expression, but Julian's doesn't have Julian in him. So you got to find out for your audience. Like I know for my audience, they want to see me in that thumbnail. And if I don't put me, most times that video does not do as well. So I would look at your past videos and see like with you in the thumbnail or with you without, what is doing better. And you might want to focus on that because it's going to be different for every person. I agree with Rachel and like what Josh said. You want to have that most, like for me, 9 times out of 10, I'm holding up my biggest sale of the day if it's a what sold. And I'm not going to tell them necessarily what it sold for. Like my one with my $2,000-$3,000 purses, you couldn't even see a quarter of an inch of the purse, and I just put my biggest eBay sale ever. You want to put something in there that makes them think they need to watch it to see what you're talking about. Like that's Julian's with his arrow, like the best one ever. I can't believe I found this, and they're like, "What did you find?"
Oh, what is that?
They want to make them click and want to know what you've got to tell them, but don't do clickbait where it's fake and it's not real. But I agree with highlighting. Like mine that went crazy was the teacup one, which Mike loves to give me crap about more than anybody else, I think. I put teacups are worth more than gold. Like people are like, what? Teacups worth more than gold? Let me watch it. So you want to make them watch it, and your title to who just chinged?
Definitely not me.
The Chachingking.
The Chachingking, Chaching. I would say like
I sold an ornament.
It's not bad.
I just listed 10 ornaments earlier, right before we came on. I would also say is put words that are searchable. Like I think a lot of people look at the big channels that could put my cat is blue and they would get 100,000 views. Well, you're not that channel. So
Amen.
You need to use words like mine or like what sold on eBay or high dollar sales. You want to think of what are people searching for that are going to watch your video, because you want to title it, your title and your thumbnail are what make people watch. So if anything to concentrate on improving, I would definitely do that. And with that, congrats again on 3K, Sonny. I'm very happy for you and on getting monetized. I am going to let Rachel and Scott tell you guys goodbye, and if they have anything coming up this week, and then Julian and I will tell you goodbye. We I never look. We are live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you have questions, definitely come in. Let me see. Oh, next week is going to be Las Vegas Thrifts and the niche lady, Danny.
Oh, cool.
So they have been on with us several times before, so that should be a fun show next week. Here is Rachel.
I have one of the most exciting things I've ever done on my channel coming up tomorrow. So if you're not subscribed, like you totally need to be. Last August, I decided to trade in all of my death pile, every unlisted thing in my house, and buy a new car. And at first it was just going to be new to me. But guys, today we brought to the dealership cash for a brand new built for me vehicle. And tomorrow I'm revealing what it is. And my whole purpose of my channel is to show you how to do the exact same thing, live debt free and sell as a reseller on whatever platform you want to for the rest of your life if you'd like to. So I would appreciate a subscription if you guys aren't already subscribed. And thanks a lot for having me, Kat.
Perfect. Here's Scott.
All right. First, I want to thank Kat, Rachel, and Julian for letting me be a part of it. I have had so much support from this community and the people in the chat and everybody that was at the Cats get together. I really feel blessed to be a part of it. I have a video coming out tomorrow, which is more than just a haul. It came from a friend of mine, and she gave me permission to share the story of her brother who she lost, and that's where the stuff came from. And so it's a little bit different because it's not just a haul. But if you haven't been on the channel, I love making the videos, and hopefully they're benefiting somebody. Love to have you come check it out. And that's it. Thanks for letting me be here.
Julian?
Thank you, Scott, Rachel. Seriously, thank you for coming on. It was an awesome show. Kat, as always, thank you for not firing me. And then tomorrow I have a different type of video coming out. It was pretty epic. It's actually gonna be like a 4-part series. You don't have to watch every part, but it was a lot of work, I'll tell you that. But it's coming out tomorrow. It's not a yard sale video. I've been hitting yard sales hard, and people are like, please stop with the yard sale video. So this one's completely different. And
that's a lie. That's a lie. They like your yard sale videos.
Yeah, some of them do.
People have been saying, we missed you sourcing. I'm like, stop saying that. I'm trying not to source.
Yeah.
Very hard.
It's a bad cycle to be in.
Yeah. So tomorrow I'm going to do teacups. I'm going to do the top selling teacups for May on eBay. Crazy sales again. 2 of them were mine, which I am happy about. And I learned them because of doing the first teacup video. That is how I learned about them and found them. So I'll probably talk about that a little bit. And I might do an updated high bid video because I have been getting asked about that. So I might do that for Friday. I'm doing everything but sourcing, guys, because I'm trying not to go thrifting and not to go to yard sales. So you're going to have to watch other stuff so I can behave and get through my death pile. So thank you all for coming. We will have Danny and Tiffany with us next week. And we will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.